For more on China's silver economy, let's turn to John Gong. John is a professor at the University of International Business and Economics and joins us now from Beijing. John, thanks very much. Look, a couple of things that really jumped out to me. One, the retirement age. If you look at China compared to other nations, it's quite low. For men, it's often 60. For women, 55. So people are living longer. So what does this mean? What are these people as they age spending money on? One would presume health care and body care. So are marketers looking at this as a chance to tap into this market, or is there also the concern about keeping the elderly alive, happy, and well, while the younger generation looks to build its own family?
Okay, yeah, let me answer your question. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. Let me answer your question before starting with discussion about this aging population issue here in China. I think the aging population is an inevitable fact here. Urban China's demographic trend. And I think the Chinese government is learning from the experiences in countries like Japan and South Korea. So instead of treating this as a sort of a challenge to the future economic growth, I think the government would like to turn it around and see it as an opportunity. It's a way of developing a silver economy, as they call it. And I think the point you are raising about extending the retirement age is precisely part of the policy instruments the government is talking about. The retirement age you have been mentioned, you have just mentioned, relates to policies many years ago. It's long. The change is long overdue. And I think we know that with the recent healthcare development and technology development, people reaching 60 years old are still very healthy. Sure. And it still definitely can work. I think there's a saying in the United States that life starts in the 50s or maybe even 60s, I guess. Yeah. So I think this is precisely what the government wants to do. And also I think this corresponds with the development of AI technologies and uses of robotics. So in other words, one side we're talking about these machines replacing people. On the other hand, we're talking about the decreased population here in China, and I think the decrease in population in China happened at a time when precisely these technological solutions are taking place right now. So I think it's a perfect match. So in that regard, I think China shouldn't be too much concerned about the aging population. There wouldn't be a shortage of labor supply, in my view. Sure. And I think extending the retirement age and application of these new technologies will solve the problem.
And John, one thing that really jumps out at me is China now has this massive middle class that every nation on Earth now wants to be able to tap into. And as this healthy middle class gets older, they're going to have more of a disposable income. They're going to have more things, more time, more money to purchase things. Isn't that something China is counting on as well?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We also have a baby boomer generation. I guess I'm part of that as well. Yeah, so I think there will be a very large number of people retiring within the next few years. And I think relatively speaking, this is a very large market. I think people are relatively well off and wealthy compared to other age groups. And I think their purchasing power is actually very powerful. I think many new opportunities, business opportunities exist. And what the government wants to do is to promote this idea and to steer the investment in these new technologies that will tap into that market.
Yeah, indeed. John, I've always admired Asia, especially China, for this reputation of taking care of their elderly, and certainly with the planning going into way, we certainly anticipate they're going to be able to find a way to tap into this. John Gong, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you very much.